Alright guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And now that Activision Blizzard has pretty much been owned by, or is being owned, or is gonna be owned within just a few days or whatnot, by Microsoft, there are a plethora of possibilities that could happen that could change the Call of Duty universe, the Activision Blizzard universe. And it may take a turn for the better, or it may take a turn for the worse, or it may not go anywhere. So in terms of Call of Duty, I think it's a very interesting thing, and there's like a handful of topics that I want to talk about that relate to this in terms of possibilities. But I'm going to start with this one that we're going to talk about today, and that is Bobby Kotick, and whether or not he will actually stay, because we got to consider both possibilities. I mean, hell, there was one, back in the day when I made my first Thunderstruck Gaming video, on 402 Thunder's community channel, which was the first time I posted there. I posted there like a handful of times. And my very first video was, what if somebody bought Call of Duty? Or what if Activision sold Call of Duty? And it was like something of a fantasy. And fast forward an X amount of years later, here we are today to where it is actually a reality, which is one of the many reasons as to why I want to talk about it. Because otherwise, I have little to no reason talking about Call of Duty, especially with my interest in X Defiant and my interest in other video games as well. As a matter of fact, I will say that I'm actually like just as excited, if not more excited, for games like Spyro 4, which is, by the way, rumored to be in development, as well as a possible Crash 5, and the fact that all of these different franchises are going to be on Game Pass, right? And for me, those are games that I grew up with, so they have a very nostalgic and soft spot in my heart, and they will forever, no matter how basic they may be for a few other people that see them that way. I will always love them for the various reasons that I do, and perhaps I'll make a video another day talking about it, or whenever I stream it. Shout out to everybody that comes to stream, by the way. Love you guys very much. I may stream it, and we may talk about it on stream, or just stream that game and just talk about something else. But anyway, let's get on to today's topic and talk about the possibility of Bobby Kotick either staying or leaving or whatnot. Now, obviously, I'm just going to say right off the bat that it is a higher probability that he will leave, especially since he's going to have, what, $400 million given to him upon his departure. Is it upon his departure, or is it more along the lines of a part of the transaction? Probably the departure, but I don't know, or both. I don't know. But ultimately, it's a 50-50 shot, right? Because one thing I did read recently on Twitter, as I was kind of browsing Twitter off and on while I was at work or whatnot, right? Doing my work duties, and I would just get on the phone every so often and check Twitter or whatnot, especially over the last week since this transaction and all the news with the FTC and all that other stuff has been going on. It's been very interesting. So I remember reading one of the threads, and somebody said, say what you want about Bobby, and I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, say what you want about Bobby, but the man certainly knows how to make money. And this is true. And yeah, he certainly does. And at the end of the day, it's something that no matter what kind of business you are, and obviously Microsoft is a huge business, right? They're in the trillions, right? So, one thing I've certainly noticed about the most financially successful people is that they're always going after more money, despite the fact that they're getting it when they sleep, and they're going to continue to make millions and billions of dollars on a yearly basis, but they're constantly chasing more and more and more of it. I mean, some of them to the point to where it's like they're starving, so who knows? Maybe perhaps that's part of the reason why they're so rich and continue to get rich or whatnot. But anyway, going on to what I was saying is that there's a 50-50 chance that Bobby may stay or leave. And looking at Google, now granted, you can't take everything seriously on Google, right? There's always going to be a few mistaken facts here and there, and a few things between the lines, but ultimately, according to Google, Bobby Kotick is worth billions. So this $400 million paycheck, which is a lot, no matter what, no matter whether you're rich or poor, it's a lot of money. But I don't know, man. there's a possibility that he may collect and stay somehow or something if his position is different, right? So now, obviously, for whatever reason, I guess I'm assuming that Bobby, as well as a few other people, probably believe that EOMM, for instance, engagement optimization matchmaking, the algorithm that's being put into the games, the recent games of Call of Duty, I would probably say ever since, let's say, 2017 and beyond, is probably, let's say it is, it's said to make them money. That's what they believe, or at least according to their data or whatever it is. And it's probably because of the microtransactions and everything else. But ultimately, I guess we can say that a lot of people, especially, as far as the work environment goes and all the stuff that we've heard about, things going on behind the scenes, at least for as far as we know, Bobby, a lot of people, I think, would want Bobby to just kind of, go and retire with his big fat paycheck and all that other stuff, right? So, obviously, I think it's safe to say that most of us would like that. And yet, at the same time, what if he actually stays as a consultant, right? I mean, obviously, everybody's going to have to answer to Phil now, since, at least that's what's been said beforehand. Phil's going to get a promotion, which he will, because this was his proposal, I believe. So ultimately, with that being said, Phil's going to be the main boss, which is obviously a good thing because Phil is he's a gamer first and foremost. And as of right now, where we stand, Microsoft is community friendly. Now, this is a huge business, and money is always going to be a factor, despite what their goals are and the way they approach them, right? Money is the main goal, and let's not forget about the fact that this business, right, this corporation, this business, whatever you want to call it, could still pull a bait and switch, right? In other words, what I'm trying to say is it could be consumer friendly now, but later on down the road, they may not be, right? So, and I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people are very skeptical about, or let's just say are against the against Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, because this is probably a reason why, because they're afraid that things may go, bait and switch or whatnot, and Microsoft would have way too many franchises under their belt and all that other stuff. I mean, things could go either way, which is, again, a part of the inspiration of this topic, because it really can go either way. There's no guarantee that Bobby's going to leave, although it's highly likely. There's still no guarantee yet. Until, here's the thing that I have in my mind, okay? Until, it is said that Bobby has moved on to whatever else he wants to do, right? And, until we officially hear something like that, which as of right now we haven't, at least as far as I know, we gotta keep our head on straight, right? We gotta keep our head on straight. There's a potential for Call of Duty, as well as the other franchises under Activision Blizzard, to flourish more than they ever have before, and for so many people to be happy. But at the same time, there's also the potential and the possibility that may not be the case, right? I mean, it was a fantasy in order for this merger to happen, right? For Call of Duty itself to be owned by somebody else like Microsoft. So now that has come true. Okay, but it coming true is only part of the fantasy, right? The rest of the fantasy is that we get the Call of Duty of our dreams, or the Call of Duties of our dreams, and everything that we have been hoping for and wanting to come to fruition, and with as minimal BS as possible. And then everybody is happy, Microsoft is happy, and everybody's happy. It's all good, right? So, and there's going to be more videos about what the possibilities could be, which I'm actually excited to make, because, well, I wouldn't be talking about what if. I mean, sure, they are what if kind of topics, but with that being said, they're possible now because of this. So, so I can't wait to make a few more videos about the topic and to hear about your thoughts on the matters that I will be talking about as well. So with that being said, I want to toss it off to you guys. What do you guys think about all this? Do you think that Bobby is going to stay? Do you think that Bobby is going to go? What do you think? Because ultimately, until we hear otherwise, we just can't be too sure, especially when it comes to things like money and all sorts of things right now. I mean, first of all, when we first heard about this acquisition, first we thought it was going to be like that Microsoft was going to get it, and then there was a stop, and then we still thought it was going to go through, and then there was a stop, and then it went to court, and then Microsoft won it. Um, so yeah, sometimes you just never know, man. Sometimes you really just never know, especially when there's a lot of money that plays into the role as well, and especially when you got somebody who may not even need that money because he's already got more and he just wants to. I don't know, man. It might be more lucrative for, like in the 5-year run for Bobby to make even more money if he were to actually stick around, even if it wasn't a different position, versus taking a $400 million plus paycheck and then going home. I'm just saying. Because, I mean, he's been with Activision Blizzard for like, what, a long ass time, right? So, I mean, and he's gotten his billions because of it. So, I don't know. I'm just thinking he might get more bonuses and more other things in a slightly different position under Microsoft, which now owns Activision Blizzard. So, because that's the thing. Sometimes when you go from job to job or something of that nature, or if you get a paycheck upon departure or something like that, you're probably thinking along the lines of, okay, will this be good in the long run? Or do I have another option in terms of maybe if I stay, maybe for another, let's say 5 years, give or take, right? I could actually make more. So, and as you guys know, there's no limits when it comes to this. These guys just, there's no limit. they always want more and more. You can't underestimate the power of greed, man. And that is why I made this video. Because I am not going to underestimate the power of greed. And to us, $400 million is, I mean, to anybody, $400 million is a lot of money. But think about it. If you're worth billions, you don't think the same way. Let's just be real here. So, yeah. What do you guys think? And what do you think would happen if Bobby were to stay? And at the same time, what do you think were to happen if Bobby were to go? Want to know down in the comment section? Let me know. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.